It's your girl, Jessica Rabbit, and you are now tuned in to the Yo Rabbit and Neil show.
Yeah.
It's our first show, Neil.
Our first show.
But we got to lead them. First, we got to lead you guys with a prayer, though.
We got to lead you guys with a prayer.
We definitely.
Right? So I'm going to go into it with the prayer of faith, okay, from James, chapter 5, verse 13 through 20. Let him sing praise. Is anyone among you sick? Let him call for the elders of the church, and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer of faith will save the one who is sick, and the Lord will raise him up. That is prayers of faith with James chapter 5, 13 through 20. We just want to lead you guys off with this before we start. Amen.
You know, that's how we got to start the mood out, you know.
Oh, we got to start the vibe like that.
So we're super excited about our first show that we're airing today.
Yes.
It's been a long week of overthinking and trying to put all this together to give you the best show, the best content. You know us, we're just free spirit, so we go with the energy.
Yes, that's why we got these up here.
We go with the flow.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. We stay with the shakas and all the sage and everything just to set the mood up.
But just to set the mood.
Tell them a little bit about the show and what we got going on.
So in today's episode, we're basically going to explore the difficult but universal experience of grief and loss, guys.
Yes.
Okay? Losing loved ones is undoubtedly one of the most challenging events in life, right?
Right.
So, you know, we just hope to provide support and guidance for those who are navigating through, you know, this experience. Because, so do me a favor and join us as we discuss strategies for coping with the grief and finding healing in this episode.
Because the thing is with grief, Neil, we don't know how to live without the people that we lose.
It's true.
You know, we always taught to you know, to have them in our lives and love on them. But when they're gone, it's like, what do we have left after that? Like, how can we cope with it and move forward with grieving somebody, especially when you're so used to seeing them and then you come to reality and you be like, I'm never going to see that person again.
Right.
How does life continue after that?
Well, you know, the thing is, the hardest part about everything is dealing with death, right? That's something that's guaranteed to all of us, right? That's guaranteed that we're going to face that. The thing is what we got to understand and come to terms is if we believe in a higher power, we want to believe that we'll see them again, right? We want to believe we'll see them again. And so I know it's hard to deal with. It's not easy to cope with, but that's just a part of the way it's set up, right? We're set up to be be born, and then we have that expiration date. And a lot of us not prepared for the expiration date. A lot of us are. A lot of us have accepted that. But what are we going to do while we're here, right? What are we going to do? What kind of impact are we going to leave on people's lives? That is what you should be asking yourself now that you know. Because when you're kids, you don't really grasp death. You don't grasp it as a kid. But as an adult, you grasp what death means. So that means you need to ask yourself, okay, what do I want to be remembered by? What do I want as far as for legacy? What do I want to leave behind? You know, like I know what I want to be left behind for, and that's just basically being a guy that did the best that he could to help others and also be an inspiration to others, influence others to do great things, you know, and just to uplift them. And we need that in this world. That is a lot of things that we're missing is people to just say, hey, you know what can we do to help others? What can we do to impact kids? What can we do to impact people who are thinking negatively or thinking toxic? How can we benefit or help them basically to get them out of that type of a vibe or zone, which is very difficult because I don't know about you, but I'm not professional to.
But not only that, grieving, everybody grieves differently.
Right.
You know, some people want space. Some people want the attention. Some people don't even know what to say.
That's right.
So a person that just lost a person. So it's like, what do you say? How do you comfort them?
Right. Yeah. Well, the only way you can do that, only way you understand that if you've lost somebody before.
Right.
That's the only way you'll be able to sympathize or have empathy or have grace or have humility or have understanding.
Absolutely.
So that's the only way you're going to be able to understand. Now, if somebody never lost anybody yet, which God bless you if you haven't lost anyone in your family, you are blessed to not have lost people.
Or lost anybody that's close to you.
I've lost my dad. I've lost my grandmother, which I was raised with, love her to death, still love her. Even after she's gone, a lot of things that I think about her a lot. And yeah, it was tough. It was very tough. I still haven't really mourned with her. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you this. One thing I know for sure. Two things for sure. What they say that saying, or one thing's for sure and two things for certain. We are all going to face that situation at the end of the day where we pass away. Right. Now, and our kids are really not prepared for us to pass away. They may be prepared for the real world and knowing that they got to make a living out here and survive out here, but they're never prepared. Like my friend of mine said, Clarence Parks, that passed away.
Rest in peace.
Which this show I wanted to dedicate it to him, Clarence Parks.
Yes.
And we call him Mr. Cook Up. You know what I mean? Mr. Cook Up. They call him Sam. You know,
you know what's even more difficult is when it's so unexpected.
Right.
When it's so unexpected, it's like, damn.
It's like,
and then sometimes you start questioning God. It's like, God, was it really his time? Like,
it was early.
Did you make a mistake? Like.
And we just celebrated his birthday, March the 23rd. We just celebrated his birthday. He had his kids there, he had friends there, his co-workers there. It was just a beautiful thing. And then, man, August, 12th? Yeah. Something like that. What date was that? August the 19th? August the 18th? Then we found out about that. So... Yeah, it was just a tough thing.
No, and then even before that, we had a close death. She was like almost like a second mom, since I was a little girl by like the age of 7. I used to go take her groceries for her. And we built a relationship, and she passed. And, they say they come in threes. So it's like, oh, my God, who's next? And then when we heard about Sam, and it was so unexpected, it was so devastating. It's like, damn, how do we move forward? Like, all we got is just memories. And then when we go back home, we're like, we ain't really never going to see him again.
It's true, because I was trying to call him, right? And it was so weird. I was like, yeah, man, I got this thing going. Let me call Sam real quick. I was like, oh, man, he's gone. Like, wow, he's gone. So that's why we wanted to dedicate this show, our first episode, by the way.
Yes.
We wanted to, to really do it, to healing broken souls, you know what I mean? And,
absolutely.
And just, just give our respects, pay our respects to him.
Shout out to the sponsors. We got to make sure we shout out to the sponsors. Definitely. Shout out to Healing Broken Souls. Shout out to Laugh House Production.
Yes.
For even believing in our show and becoming sponsors. So shout out to them. And make sure you go follow the website, healingbrokenSouls.org. Shout out to them.
Yes.
Yeah. So you ready?
Yeah.
You ready for today?
Oh,
not only is it our first show, but we got to give you a tribute to 9/11.
Yes, 9/11.
To all the fallen people that have lost their loved ones in 9/11.
Yes, man. We, I remember what I was doing that day. Actually, it was me and my friend. We were roommating in Rochester, New York, and I was laying on the floor. And the TV came on the screen, and we seen one of the planes go into the building. I was
that was crazy.
And I was like, yo, they need to stop doing that with that movie. They always come out with movies of attacking that. And then when we seen the second one hit, we was like, oh, wow. Like, yo, this is really happening. And we were just shocked. And
it was just like a movie.
It looked like an entire movie. And all the people that fought, as far as trying to put the fires out, or they was down
people
there,
jumping off of the building,
jumping out the building, choosing whether to burn up or whether to just jump to their death. Like, can you imagine being in a position to actually be up there and you see fire right there,
you see people
and then
just
you see people
jumping
just jumping? They're making a decision.
Traumatizing.
That is a and
even waiting on the moment to find out like about your loved ones that they bury under there. You want to make sure that they're alive. So even searching for them, making sure that they're alive. That's nerve. It would have been nerve-wracking to me, even watching it and seeing just that the building just collapsing. It's just like,
that was catastrophic, to say the least. That was a very catastrophic, a huge tragedy and a huge loss. And people are still passing away from the smoke, from all the stuff, the asbestos,
all that they inhaled,
trying to save people and trying to help people. But the people who were trying to escape it, they still inhaled that. And to this day, people are dying from it. They're dying from the chemical, the smell of this. You got firefighters still passing away. So RIP to all the people that was lost at 9/11. We honor you. We thanked all of the people that helped. We thank the firefighters in New York, NYC, all the people who worked.
Because they all came together. That's one thing about New York. We come together. Everybody did, because that was such a big tragedy. But when it's from home, we feel a little more different because that's our hometown. So
absolutely,
it hits us kind of different. But we're gonna come back. It's your girl Jessica Rabbit on the Yo Rabbit and Neil. I got my co-host in the building.
Co-host Neil next to
we got more to talk about grievance and learning how to grieve and how I cope with my grieving. I do certain things, good and bad when I cope with my grieving. But I'm gonna explain to you guys how I cope with my grieving. And we're going to talk about how you cope. You grieving. So we'll be right back. It's your girl, Jessica Rabbit. On the Yo Rabbit and Neil show. Yo.
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Neil, next in line, and we are back with the Yo Rabbit and Neil show. For the guys, that people that just tapping in right now, we are talking about coping mechanisms, right? The griefs that affect everyone differently, right? Their griefs affects everyone differently, and it's important to, find these different coping mechanisms, to deal with grief, to deal with death, So Jessica Rabbits,
what's up, Neil? What's up?
What do you do to cope with?
Well, I don't do well with any type of pain, hurt, my feelings, anything with feelings. I don't do well with it. But my coping mechanism, I have two ways. One, I drink. So sometimes I find by me just not thinking about it for the moment is coping with it. It's not a good mechanism, but sometimes I just want to shut down everything and not think about it because I think about it so much. Besides drinking, I just like to spend time with my family. I need attention. Yeah.
So that's the coping. That's how you deal with it.
That's how I deal with it.
And it's not easy to deal with. And everyone has different things of coping with. Like you said, you deal with drinking. Drinking is something that you find a place where you can kind of hide from the issues that are going on in life, right? From death, from all different types of things that you go through in life. And that's the human in you. That's what makes you human. That's what makes all of us human. We're not perfect individuals, right? And we do our best to handle situations, and a lot of times we handle them in the wrong ways, and other times we kind of channel it in the right way. But it is super hard to deal with it, and I understand what you're coming from. But what I want to know is, since you deal with that in that way, what are other ways that you try to find that is in a better way than when you resort
I manifest a lot. So I'm constantly manifesting all day long. Praying, I pray like 5 times a day.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm always praying, I'm always manifesting, I always try to think of other things to distract it. But that's when it's a close one, it's just so hard. It's just hard.
It is hard. It's not easy at all. Coping with a lot of, with the loss and griefs of people. I mean, everyone has their way of doing it. I myself, I had got into a situation where how I was coping with was almost acting like it didn't exist. It was almost like a block out. And it was my way of avoiding what's really going on. Losing somebody, like, wow, this person's really gone. And it's almost like that's the void. And what I tried to do was look at it in a void sense, and then it would come back and hit me like, nah, this is real. Like, this really happened. Like, let that set in. So, we both deal with a lot, and we're trying to, grasp it in different ways. Me going to the beach is cool for me.
Yeah, I like that too.
The beach never used to be my thing like that. Yeah, but then I got into it. I remember my wife's like, you ain't never like to go to the beach like that. Now you want to go to the beach.
Well, I even bury myself at work, so I try to become more creative.
Yeah, that's another
creative thinking. So I'm always thinking about ways and different assets to make more money or to be creative in anything that I'm doing. So that elevates my creativity part of myself.
Oh, wow. So, awesome. So I'm glad that you're dealing and you're doing your best to deal with it. And it's not easy for guys. So guys out there, if you guys out there listening to this, it is not coping, coping with, going through tragedies, deaths, things like that. I know it's not easy. I know it's hard for you, but I'm going to tell you something. All you have to do, if you believe in a higher power, find it. Once you find that higher power, that's when you're going to be able to come to an agreement with yourself, and you're going to come to agreement with the higher up to understand that this is set up. It's supposed to happen. You are born and you will die. The question is, what will you leave behind to make an impact on people's lives? That is your job.
And that's the mission.
That's your job. Yeah. That's the mission for all of us.
Everybody.
The mission is to find out what you can do to make an impact, leave an impact on somebody's life, and to change. Because you know what we're doing right now, we can be possibly changing somebody's life right now. We may not know that until we get the feedback, and they be like, you know what, Neil, you know what, Jessica Rabbit, I love what you guys are saying. So I love what we're doing. This is very therapeutic.
It is.
And we're gonna be talking to so many people out here, and I can't
let me tell you, Neil, I had this conversation with my friend yesterday, and he was asking me about the topic, what was going to be on the show. And since it's 9/11, a tribute to 9/11,
that's right.
We're talking about grief, and he was like, damn, Rabbit, that sounds so sad. Like, I can't do it. Like, why are you going to be talking about that on your Ryan's show, I'm like, there's people that are not afraid to talk about grievance.
That's right.
And then there's some people that just shout, they just shout out and they don't want to talk about it and they don't want to grieve it. And it's cool. I understand it's not for everybody. So he said he wouldn't be able to come on the show today just because, it's so sad to him about grievance. But to a lot of people out in the world, it's therapy.
Yeah, they need it.
Some people, they want to talk about it. Some people want to express themselves, even if they got to cry it out or whatever.
That's right.
It's good to talk about it, and especially surround yourself with people that you love.
That's right.
Especially on a time like that. You don't want to, hang with the wrong crowds to the point where you do wrong things because you're grieving. So you always got to make sure that you're around positivity when you're going through such a traumatic state like that, because you never know, it can go left.
Amen.
And the next thing you know, you lost yourself, and then
Amen.
you can't come back from it.
I had a friend in high school. He was a big guy, rather big guy. And he used to be happy all the time, walk around happy. But I didn't know the whole entire time he wasn't.
Yeah.
And you never knew it because he always made everybody laugh, always made everybody smile. And he actually jumped off of a building, I'm sorry, not the building, but actually the place where the cars go up under, like the bridge. He went on a bridge and jumped off a bridge in Rochester, New York, killed himself. This was back in, long time, many moons ago. I don't want to say, but many moons ago, he jumped off the bridge, and it was so strange how that happened because you never knew that he was suffering and going through anything because he didn't want you to see that. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Out here in the world, people are laughing, but they're really crying on the inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and some people, that's how they do it. Even with comedy, a lot of the comics, they go through depressions and they go through so much, and they bury themselves through laughter and through jokes. And that's how they get through it all. You know, and us, we're so used to seeing them laughing that we don't really even know what they got, what they're going through. And this whole time, they just lost somebody.
Kevin Hart had a thing called "Laugh at My Pain."
Yeah.
So shout out to Kevin Hart too, by the way. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Kevin Hart?
We love you, Kevin Hart. You need to come to the show one day.
You need to come on the show, baby. You know what I'm saying? We want you here.
We want you here. But and this is what this whole concept is about today. It's just learning how to cope with it, deal with it, remembering our loved ones and pouring into our loved ones, and just,
that's right. You're
just learning this thing called life. I guess.
Life, man. And life is, we're teachers.
Right.
And we're students. So we have to always understand that we are teachers and we are students. You can always learn something from everyone. Everyone is a lesson. Everyone is a teacher, and everyone is a student. I'll forever be a student to the day I leave the planet.
Me too. I'm
you know
a
what
student.
I mean? I feel like we all will. You know what I mean?
I like to learn.
I learn something new every day, even from my son, my youngest son.
Because if you surround yourself with people that ain't teaching you nothing, then you shouldn't even be in that circle.
You shouldn't be around them. That's called still people.
Right.
People who are still. Still people are people who are not doing anything to move forward. They're still talking about drama. They're still talking about what somebody else got, and they not focusing on what they need to be doing. They still talking about, if I only had. No, get up, start going, start putting your mind to it, change your mindset, change your passion, and whatever you find passion in, do it. Like some people, they say, I'm passionate about this, but you may not be trained for it because you didn't study for it or you didn't work towards that. So how are you passionate against something that you haven't even practiced for, you haven't studied for? So between all of that and dealing with grief, you're dealing with a lot. All of us are dealing with a lot on our plate. It just really is a lot on our plate. And the world has been moving faster than I've ever seen it before in my life. Days are going by.
So
weeks
fast.
are going
We're
by.
getting
Years
older.
are going by.
It's like, what you doing with your life?
Like, what are you doing? Like, and then you want to be able to say after 365 days, because we all know 365 days a year, right? You want to be able to recap that 365 days and ask yourself, what have you done in 365 days that has gotten you to the next level? Okay. So, there's a lot that we are trying to, not trying, because I hate to use that word, trying. There are a lot of things that we're working on to unpack our lives. And we all can do it by listening and tapping in to people's stories. Because listening to our story, your story, anybody out there in the world's story can actually give us a lesson.
Right.
And I'm always open for lessons all day long. And I'm listening too. Because, even the person that's less fortunate can tell you something. Don't get it twisted. A person who don't got millions and millions of dollars can actually, can tell you something that you've never heard before.
Right.
So that's why we're always with our eyes open, and we love it.
And you never know what a person's going through, so just be kind to people.
Yeah, kindness.
That ain't got nothing to do with us. Sometimes people just battle their own demons, and they fighting their own demons, and you got to let people be who they are. But it's your girl Jessica Rabbit. You on the Yo Rabbit and Neil show with my co-host.
Yes, it is your boy next Next in line is Neil, baby.
And we'll be right back. We're going to take a little commercial break. But shout out to Healing Broken Soul. Shout out to Laugh House Production for sponsoring our show. We love you guys. We'll be right back.
Yes. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Neil, next in line, and we are back with the Yo Rabbit and Neil show, ladies and gentlemen, with my host Jessica Rabbit.
What's up, Neil? What's
and your boy
up?
Neil.
Listen, we've been sitting here talking about grieving, how to cope with grieving. 9/11.
9/11.
The people they have lost.
People they lost. People we've lost this year.
What else method can people use to grieve? I'm going to give you just one, and then I'm going to let you finish that off.
Give me one.
Therapy. What do you think about therapy? Especially in our community, you know how they don't believe in therapy?
They don't.
They don't believe in seeking like professional
Not as minorities. We don't
help.
believe in that. We believe like, be quiet. We got this.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with you.
Stop crying.
Yeah, you
Hold it in.
We ain't going to no therapy.
Especially as a male.
We're not doing it. Especially as male.
We always teach you guys how not to be emotion.
Yeah, not to have emotions, not to cry, not to, we just haven't been taught that. What was registered, especially with me, was basically, you work hard, you provide, and you die. That's it. And no complaining, no talking junk. You just do your thing, work, provide, and that's it. You're up out of here. That's how it goes. When people deal, especially men too, men deal with a lot of emotional situations. They just scared to show it because they feel like if they show it, it makes them weak or it makes them less of a person or less of a man. Like, no, you're not less of a man. Jesus wept, for crying out loud. He cried, so that makes him less of a man because he cried. No, it's nothing wrong. Sometimes you need to release that emotion and cry and get it out, and that's what your healing process starts, is when you release. But a lot of times we are so emotionally bottled up, so sometimes we let our emotions get out of control. And then we do things that we regret later, whether it's, making a bad decision to hurt somebody or, for God's sake, maybe, God forbid, kill somebody. Then you're in prison for the rest of your life off an emotional decision because all your emotions was bottled up. And then that one thing snapped you. And when it snapped you, you couldn't control your emotions and you did something that that costed you the rest of your life, or you could get killed in the midst of that emotion. So learning how to control our emotions is something that we really need to really work on. And if we really need to pay somebody to help us get that under control, then we don't need to be ashamed of doing it. And that is in the minority community, in the blacks, Latinos. I don't care who you are, because I love everybody. You love everybody too. So, we don't care who you are. If you're going through something emotional, you need therapy. You need to check in. You need to really check in.
Somebody.
And if you don't want to speak to somebody, you know what it is? A lot of times I feel like they can't afford the therapy. See, there's not a lot of places I feel that are free places to help you, genuinely help you. If they had more places that are free for help, I think that would help too. But everyone wants to charge for things like that. Like I've checked into something that where for therapy sessions was like $140 an hour or 120 or each session. So it really costs to get this therapy, and some people really can't afford it. And and that's what we as a people need to work on, is being able to have places for people to go that can't afford therapy and can't afford help, and give them a place to go. So I think that's really one of the things that we need to do to work on. So if anybody out there, if you guys are psychologists or you guys are involved with this, reach out to us so that way we can know, we can know, so we can let other people know that there's a way to go, because I don't know where to go here in South Florida. So if you guys know, reach out to us at the Yo Rabbit and Neil on Instagram, and also you can follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Don't forget, guys, subscribe to the Yo Rabbit and Neil on YouTube, and definitely give us a follow on Instagram, and definitely give us a follow on Twitter, and also give us a follow on TikTok. We everywhere. Like we're everywhere. Like we're just getting everywhere so people can find us, and we just want to help. We're here to address different topics, different situations, talk about life, because people can talk about whatever they want, but what we want to bring to the table here at the Yo Rabbit and Neil show is everything. We want to talk about it all.
No judgment at all.
No judgment.
Awareness,
we want to bring awareness to everything, right?
Don't even be ashamed. We even gonna be crying on our show.
We're gonna
have topics that is gonna touch close to home. So you're gonna get the vulnerability of us. You're gonna get us.
You can get the funny
as
part,
a person, pure, genuine. That's just how we are.
You know, and that's the thing. People haven't seen a lot of our different sides, right? They know about me, like, yo, what's good, ladies? They know I'm all like this, always with an energy, but they haven't seen the other side of me. You know what I mean? I guess that's the Gemini in me. They haven't seen the other side, you know, and there's a sentimental side. There's a humility side. There's a discernment side. You know, there's just so many different sides of me, but I want people to know who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing this to begin with. And I really feel it's to help somebody. We don't know who, but we're going to reach somebody out here by doing this. And this is going to help.
And that's our purpose. And that's just our whole concept. And even though the whole concept of the show anyways, one thing about us is that we want to be out here wanting to help people. Like, that's right. If it's one person at a time, we've always been for that.
Right. That's what I love about
that's what we stand for.
That's what
and that's why we shine bright like a diamond. That's why everybody out there couldn't wait. Oh my God, Rabbit, when is your show coming out? When is your show coming out? We love to see you on the mic. We like to see you in the cameras. Like, this is your purpose. This is what you made for. And I'm grateful. Amen. Like, it's the first show. Like, we're gonna keep going. The first show, and 9/11, on a day of 9/11. That's dope. Yeah. You know, when we sit here and we celebrate, you know, not only was it a tragic, but, you know, we also celebrate well. We celebrate life. You celebrate life too, because when somebody passed, you're really supposed to celebrate their life. You know, we do hurt about it, but it's really supposed to be a life of celebration. Right. You know, and because you're supposed to be happy when somebody passes away, it's like, oh man, they don't even have to deal with this no more. Right. They don't have to deal with all the stuff that's going on. They're not suffering and going through the pain anymore.
They're not going through high rent right now. They're not going through hospital bills or feeling the pain of hospitals.
Especially that rent.
And that rent, they ain't feeling rent no more neither. You know what I mean? God. They don't got to worry about rent, lights.
Nothing.
You know, you don't have to worry about nothing. It's over with for you with that. But the learning process, the learning curve of this, the emotional, the grief, and then the celebrating and remembering people for who they were, what type of person they, you know, what type of impact they left on people. Yep. And you want to really think about that, because some people, you know, pass away. And to be honest, some of them that passed away weren't good people. Yeah. Right? They would be like, them people, and people, anytime somebody passed away, they'd be like, he was such a good.
Right.
It was
Stop
like, nah, you know,
let's be for real. You know, they was,
Come on, you know, they wasn't even like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. We want to understand that, at the end of the day, we know they weren't great people, but somewhere, somehow, I'm sure they've done something at one point in time where they were, and maybe something happened that brought them into that particular situation. So I want to say that let's pray for everybody out there that's going through something.
Absolutely.
And for the people that has passed, we want to make sure that whatever you do, make sure you learn from everything that's happening, you know, because like I said, emotions is really high out here nowadays. People's bottled up their emotions so high today, till one thing happened, they're ready to snap, they're ready to just get rid of and just end it all, you know. And all it took was somebody to say one thing that flicked them, and it was a wrap. So we really got to get our emotions in check. I won't stress that enough on this show. Is getting our emotions under control. Because they don't know how to deal with it. Even with like relationships, right? When you lose a loved one, whether it's a parent, and it's like, how do you comfort your mate? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be too unbearable. And then you want to give them their space, but it's like every time you try to check up them, and they shy you away, like they don't want to talk to you because they're going through their own stuff. So it's like, it's even hard being in a relationship when you coping with a loss of a loved one, because we're gonna grieve with you and we understand with you, but only you know your emotions and how that person meant to you and how you deal with those type of emotions. And don't get upset because you don't understand how to deal with it, and understand that not everyone deals with emotion of losing somebody differently. You might deal with it by not even dealing. Like just acting like they don't exist. Because like I said, once again, that's what I did. When things happen like traumatic this way, I try to block it. And it's like, what are you doing blocking that? But the problem with me is I've always been a blocker all my life. Like from a kid, I was a blocker, you know what I mean? Because of the simple fact of the matter, not having, you know, my mom like that around, you know, that was in and out. I'm just being real. I'm just being in and out. My dad not really being there for me like that. It made me build up a block. It made me build up a bridge. Like I'm blocking out things. If something traumatic happens, I want to block that. I don't want to deal with it. Or if something went wrong, I'm like, oh, this went wrong. Okay, I understand that, but I don't at the same time. You know what I mean? Why did that happen? You know what I mean? So there's a lot, and that's a part of a coping mechanism. You know, or sometimes I might grab a beer. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm gonna drink me a beer for a couple of days. I'm gonna drink it till I don't want to drink it no more. Then I'll stop drinking, and I'll stop it for like 6 months or 4 months or 3 months, and I'll go back and get on a spree like that. It's just a lot of different coping mechanisms mannerisms that I usually do, and they're not good because I'm not perfect at the same time, but these are things that we as men, we struggle and fight with. We're struggling about past things that we haven't quite got over. When everybody just tells you, oh, get over it. This has already happened. You can't do nothing about it. But it's an imprint there.
Right.
And
It's
it's hard
impact.
to erase that. It's hard to just say, okay, I'm going to erase that out of there. I'm not going to think about that anymore. That is bull crap. I don't care what nobody says. When something traumatic has happened to you in your life and it's happened back as a kid,
it may not have the same
hurt. It may not
hurt,
have the same hurt, but it's there.
but it's there.
And sometimes you may get triggered.
Yeah.
If something may trigger you to go back there, and you're not supposed to go back there. So we're working. I'm gonna say, speak for me. I'm working on leaving things that already happened
in the past,
behind, and not forgetting it, but just forgiving it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, you heard that? Forgiving it, not forgetting it, but forgiving it. We have to learn to forgive. It's hard.
That's another hard mechanism.
That's hard.
Because a lot of people like to hold grudges.
Oh my God.
Me, I won't like you for a little bit, but I'm not a grudge person.
Nah, I get over things quickly. Actually,
I'll love you from a distance, and I'll still pray for you.
Yeah, we can get in it today.
But it would never be the same.
Yeah.
You would never meet that same version of myself. You would never get that same.
Yeah. No, I get it. That same version.
You just won't get the same version as me.
I get it. Yeah. One day, because what I learned too was one day I can get into it. You know what I mean? Like I might have a disagreement with my wife, and then I literally forget about that whole disagreement after about an hour, 2 hours of sitting in the car, and I come back and I give her a kiss like, baby, I love you. You know what I'm saying? And because that's just what it is. If you're not going through ups and downs in anything in life, relationships, especially being married, if you're not going through ups and downs, then that marriage is not real.
Right.
Don't give me that it's flowers and oranges and all this stuff and it's pretty. No, marriage is work.
Right.
Marriage is getting your hands dirty. Marriage is staying there even when the down times are there, the ups and the downs, right? Even when she gets sick and you're still there to make sure she's okay, that's marriage.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't hold that. Somebody can get down today or tomorrow and they leave you, you know they never loved you. Yeah. Because as soon as you get sick, they out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because that was never real. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people wear a mask, and the mask never falls off. You know. But I tell you, man, so far this has been very deep. For our first time out the gate. Oh
Absolutely.
My God,
we love it.
Oh man. So we're gonna be right back after these messages because we definitely got to pay some bills, right? So we'll be right back. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Dill next in line, and we are back right now with the Yo Rabbit and Neil show.
Yes.
Woo, Jesse.
We've been having some good stuff. We've been having some good topics to talk about.
Some good topics.
I thought we was gonna be in sad and tears here, but we're doing good.
We're doing really good. We hold it up very well. This is good. So let's talk about let's talk about how to embrace the memories of our loved ones while also finding purpose and joy in our own lives.
So how do you cope with yours?
Well, I'll tell you this: music. You know, I'm a hip hop and R&B recording artist, as you know. Oh, yeah. And the songs you just heard not too long ago were from me. And that's how I actually deal with it. Music is therapy for me, along with, like I said, coping with, doing a little bit of drinking myself. You know what I mean? Smoking a cigar from here and there. You know what I mean? It's just things that soothes me. But music really is something that I've been doing for a long time. I've been to the Apollo Theater, had a group that we was in named 360, which was pretty cool. Loved that.
That's dope.
Had brotherly harmony, and we I was on 106 in Park a long time ago with AJ and Free. We had a good time with that. That was super dope. And that's how I dealt with coping with loss. That's how I dealt with coping with, people like my mom or my dad not really giving me the support that I felt that I needed. And so music is something that I kind of held on to, and I've been holding on to it ever since. And anytime I have really a bad day or I have a little bad time, I'll go and start writing music. I'll start writing it, then I'll start singing it, and that's what kind of gets me back into the seat of knowing that, okay, I got to keep pushing on. So music is something that helped me. It's like something like I want to say it's just therapy. It's something that I need, and I can't see myself without music. When I don't do music for a while, I feel funny. I'm like, wait a minute, I almost feel kind of like lost a little bit. You know what I mean? And I got to get myself right back in the vehicle and keep driving. So I'm so happy that we're doing this, and I'm so happy that we're talking about these different subjects and stuff because everyone needs to really hear this. And I'm happy. What about you, though, Jess?
Me, I love music too. But I'm a writer, so I like writing in my journal. So I have a journal where I write about all my thoughts, everything that I'm thinking about. I just jot it down. I write it down. And then months later, I reread it. I'm like, damn, I was going through that.
Wow.
That's crazy. It'll take me back. Every time I read, I'll be like, holy shit, what I was going through then that made me write that. Like,
right.
So writing to me is my therapy. And, you know, I do my manifestations. I do my tarot cards.
I do that too.
That's what I do. That's how I cope. And gatherings, family gatherings. Gatherings to me is important.
Yeah,
so
that's really important.
That's how I cope with a lot of stuff. So
that's awesome.
Writing. Writing to me is.
I love that.
Yeah,
so, you know, but at the end of the day, like I said,
it's just finding, how to cope with it.
Everyone needs to find something to cope with. And there's a lot of people out there that do. We don't know what they do, but we would love to hear from you guys.
Yes.
Whatever you guys are coping with or are you finding to cope with, how do you deal with all these
let
loss
us know.
griefs? Let us know. DM us on the Yo Rabbit and Neil on Instagram and just tap in with us. Just like, hey, man, I love what you guys doing, and this is how I cope with things. This how, because we want to hear feedback.
Yes, you can even leave it on the YouTube, on the comments.
Leave it on the comments.
Leave on the comments how you guys grieve and what the mechanisms and the coping mechanisms that you guys use to grieve. Because me and Neil already told you guys pretty much how we cope with our grieving and how 9/11 affected us. And
oh yeah, man, 9/11, man. We going back to that, man. That right there, man.
That was
we can't leave this alone. Like 9/11, man. It hurt. It really hurt a lot of people mentally, physically, emotionally. It just hurt. And we took a great loss. And I like what a lot of people did, though, to give back. I like what
they did a lot of tributes, like what Jay-Z did, like Alicia Keys.
Yeah, they all tributed.
Like they all came together.
Out, man. Shout out to Jay-Z, you know what I mean? And for doing what he did, you know, for the concert. You know, he donated that concert that went to, you know, to the 9/11. You know what I mean? And, you know, New York gave him the city. They gave him the key.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I remember that.
You know what I mean? So, you know, we got to look at for people for what they've done and highlight those things. To the reason why I'm highlighting these guys and saying these names is because these are people that you can learn from.
Right.
You can learn from on what you doing in your life. Are you making an impact on somebody's life? Are you giving back? What are you doing? We get with the Jay-Z's, we get with the Kanye's and all these people, but what are you as an individual are doing to help out your community or to invest in your community? That's what you really need to be focusing on. And if you're not focusing on that, then I just pray that one day you wake up from that and say, hey, you know what? I do want to see what I can do. Like we started, me and my wife started a nonprofit organization of healing broken souls. And like I said, one of our board members, he passed away, which is Clarence Parks.
Yes, rest in peace to him.
Rest in peace to him, a.k.a. Mr. Cookup. And, you know, he was a great person. Like, people be like, oh, yeah, people pass away. They're like, oh, they wasn't good. But nah, this guy was
an
solid.
amazing person.
He had a heart of gold. He would do anything for anybody. He knew he knew so many different people. Right. Like, no matter what
so
they
many
were.
Different, it was so diverse.
So diverse.
And he helped everybody in their own special ways. And everybody had a great story and how he left the impact and how he helped. The number one thing that we noticed is like how he helped and how he changed with no judgment. If you needed anything, he was there. And he didn't want you to give up either, you know. He'll make sure that you didn't give up on anything, your dreams or anything that you was going through. So, yeah, you don't meet good people like that. But when you do, you cherish them. We hold on to them. And we try to keep that legacy, like keep going, like keep doing the act of kindness and stuff like that, you know.
What
because
he's been doing, right?
Yeah, and keep it going. Because you never know whose life you change. You never know whose life, you know, you're going to take them from committing suicide or giving up. So, yeah, some people just need that act of kindness sometimes. And be like, how you doing? You doing okay? Everything's all right? That's right. Well, I'm just checking on you.
Check on your peoples, man.
Check on your peoples. Please check on your peoples because life is way too short. Yeah. And they, you know, they drop like flies nowadays. We're not even living past 50 now in this era.
Man. You know, it's fast. Everything's moving fast. Everything. People's lives is moving fast. The kids are growing up fast. Yeah. And all because of social media. Sorry to say. It's true. Yeah, but that's another the reason why it's moving fast. So
situation right
what we're gonna do right now is we got to go to a break right now. We're gonna come right back to you guys. It's the Yo Rabbit and Neil show right now, and we will be back after these messages. Yeah. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Neil next in line, and we are the Yo Rabbit and Neil show. I'm with my host,
Jessica Rabbit. What's up?
Choo-choo. So, what are we going to go with it now?
You tell me, Neil.
Well, guess what, guys? We have trending topic time. okay? And we have Dee's World that came by to stop by and tell us about the trending topics. So, Dee, what is the trending topic that's going on right now?
Well, Neil, Jessica Rabbit, welcome to the D World. I have the hottest topics trending right now on social media. So, the latest topic now is, guess what? I'm tired of these people.
Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Blueface and Krishan. Yes,
Blueface
that's
and
who I'm
Krishan.
talking about.
I'm tired of them, too.
I'm like, why is people even giving these people a platform anyways?
Can we get the come on, dog, please? Can we get the come on, dog button?
Come on, dog.
Right. Come on, dog.
So tell us, D-World. Tell us what's up with them
So the
kooks?
latest topic I got now is basically, I don't know if you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, what's his name? Blueface was in his house with his first baby mama. They was in there with the kids and all this other stuff. They had a couple of strippers in the background dancing. And I think his son is like 9 or 10 years old or whatever.
Wow.
Well, fast forward now he has a child with Krishana. They have a son together, who she named after herself.
Okay.
And so now he's been haunting her on social media saying like, oh, I'm going to take my child away from you. I don't want your family molesting my child because, I guess allegedly she comes from a family that has those kind of issues. So he's been putting this out publicly, how he don't want anyone touching his child or any of that. So now he's been trending on it, Twitter, everything, threatening to take her child away, blah, blah, blah. So now...
Bunch of toxic it sounds like.
Yeah,
It sound like a lot
oh
of
my
toxic.
God.
Their whole relationship is toxic.
Their whole thing is just... I pray for them
That's
both.
why they trending so heavy.
Right, exactly.
Man.
So now, apparently, allegedly, it says
Allegedly.
that,
Make sure you say allegedly.
yeah, let's
because
just say allegedly.
we
We don't
don't
need
wanna get
anyone getting
sued.
sued.
Right,
We don't
right.
wanna
We
These
don't want to
are
get sued.
things that are on the internet that I'm reading off of.
Right.
And it says now that actually Blueface and his baby moms, they have an open case with CPS.
Whoa.
Wow.
Because of the strippers. Yeah.
hope
So
that's not true.
somebody, I don't know who reported it. I don't know. But they were saying that police is now investigating the situation
Right.
of him having, he's taunting his son about not being gay. Go look at these girls dancing in the background and all this stuff.
Wow.
And apparently it struck a nerve with people. And now he has a CPS case open.
Wow.
Apparently... allegedly, there's been, police being called to their house for noise fighting and stuff like that. So,
well, we sending healing energy to them
Listen.
because they got a lot going
They've
on.
been, let me tell you
Sounds
something.
like
They've
it.
been toxic since day one. Since day one, they've been
A lot of people say
toxic.
that, yeah.
A lot of
believe
the
it.
stuff that they've been going through, far as like even like hitting on each other and that domestic violence and just glorifying it, I just don't agree with it. I really don't follow up too much with Krishan and Blueface because it's just like, to me, it's just like, it's disgusting to me.
Right.
And it's not cute. It's not funny anymore. Now you're a mom now, so hopefully she'll calm down a little bit and just leave him alone. Like,
I believe it,
he's
yeah.
toxic. Too
It's a lot.
toxic.
It's a
He's
lot.
with his baby moms now. One of his baby moms, and it's just way too much for me.
yeah.
It's not something that I would like.
Right,
Yeah.
and if you look
Entertain,
back at their
basically.
story, they're both been doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
His baby moms was pregnant. Krishan and him were rolling around town having a good old time.
Right.
Mocking her. And now that
Right.
Krishan was pregnant and, had the baby, now they're mocking her. Like, it's
Wow.
just...
Yeah, it's like a back and
It's
forth.
a
It's
back
not
and
even
forth.
funny.
It's
Like,
not funny at all.
Come on.
Yeah.
and then they got these kids involved, and now she just had a kid from him. Basically, he's not even equipped
So,
to be even a father.
yeah,
if you
he-
got freaking a 9-year-old watching strippers, at that age,
Right,
just
right.
because you wanted to prove a point that you're not
Well,
gay or you
yeah,
like women, like that's
get it.
crazy to me.
Like at the end of the day, people, there's repercussions on being the
Yeah.
way you are, and and the thing about that is, however you are with your kids now, as you get older,
Right.
you will see the effects of what happened with that on how you are. You know what I mean? I get that they're doing these things, and maybe to me, it's just not being responsible, right? It's not having an accountability for it, and they may think it's cute now, but when they get older, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, what on earth was I thinking?"
Right.
Because you got to remember, they're still fairly
No, you're
young
gonna,
people
and
too.
then not only that,
They're
you're gonna
young
look at
too.
this
They're
back,
young.
and your kids is gonna see all this.
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm
all
trying to say.
those videos and all those reality shows and all those episodes that you was putting out, one day your kids are going to see it. Unfortunately,
They will.
They will.
So you got to ask yourself, do you care? Or you got to ask yourself,
is it worth it?
Are you going to make concern? Are you going to show a sign of discernment and say, hey, you know what, I got to watch this. But remember this, these are young people still. They're still growing. And they're going to make several mistakes, just like we all have, right? And we all make mistakes, but they're going to make several mistakes because not only that, they're in the public's eye.
Yeah.
And anytime you're in the public's eye, you're on, it's like a microscope. Right. So every little thing you do, everything you do, people are monitoring that. Just like they monitor your cell phones. They are monitoring everything you do when you become an influence, when you become somebody in the industry. It's watch everything you do. So a lot of people try to do their best to keep things private. Other people actually love all of the controversy. They love when people talk about things. Because that keeps them relevant. Is what sells. It's just being honest.
It's always been that way.
It's always been. The more drama you have, the more of a situation you got going on, the more that people would talk. And the more people talk, whether it's good or bad, it's publicity. And the controversy sells, publicity sells, whether it's good or bad in any type of light. So thank you so much, D. Shout out to D for coming in, man. Is there anything else, D, that you got that you want to talk about before we move on?
No. So Blueface, you're out your rabbit ass mind.
Come on, dog.
But before you you can't leave yet. Before you leave, we're celebrating the 50th year of hip hop.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's right.
Yes.
We want to ask D.
We
gotta ask D.
So I want to ask you, since we're celebrating the 50th year anniversary of hip hop, what does hip hop mean to you?
Oh yeah.
Hip hop to me means like art, like a storytelling from our hoods. I was born and raised in the Bronx.
Shout out to the Bronx.
That's where it started.
Home of the hip hop, And hip hop is not just, rhyming. I mean, you have all these other elements, graffiti, and that's the best thing of it. B-boying, breakdancing,
Yeah.
To me, it's like therapeutic. Of course, music has changed because, we're not in the 90s and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Although that's my favorite kind of music, the 90s. Unfortunately, I have very limited music.
You're a fan of Wu-Tang, too.
I am. I'm going to go see them September 22nd.
Shout out to Wu-Tang. Yo, the concert actually is going to be at the Hollywood Hard Rock, isn't it?
Yes, the 22nd.
Hollywood, Hollywood, Florida. Yo,
September
guys,
22nd.
Yo, there's still time, guys, to get your tickets.
Yeah, make sure you get your tickets.
Though,
I can't wait. And so that's what hip hop means to me. It's kind of like telling people's story that are in the hoods, because like Pac, he rapped a lot about us women in the hoods and just it's a storytelling, and it's all about people painting their own stories or painting people's stories that are in the hoods that don't have the outlet to speak.
You think that's missing nowadays?
Absolutely, I definitely think so.
Stuff like that in
yes,
hip hop.
Oh yeah,
yes, absolutely.
We're missing that, isn't it? You think that's
we're
coming back?
missing people to speak on what's going on in the hood, because that's another thing too. Hip hop was our news reporters. They were our news reporters. And now we don't have that. So now, we're not getting our news from the hood, at all. We don't have anyone to speak.
I mean, we're getting news, but we're getting the really bad news. Like I killed the person, shot the person, did this.
And then the ones that are storytelling, they're being censored. So it's like,
it's just not. They look at it like it's not in,
right?
And who's controlling that of making it not an in thing to do to highlight hip hop like being really lyrical, right? Who's controlling that? The powers that be.
I think that with the music changing, now everybody has a different feeling of what their hip hop is.
Right. That's
to
different
me,
generations.
Different generations, different eras. So for me, I was in the 80s and 90s. So my era was lyrical, punchlines,
storytelling.
Storytelling.
That resonates with you.
Right. The whole giddy up with the gear. You know what I'm saying?
Boom bap.
That was my thing. You know what I'm saying? Growing up. Right. And now we have, the tight jeans and now we have people just rapping about every and anything, and some things is just, to me, it has to be filtered. But the labels, they lost control of that when they started, when this whole streaming
really
came in.
Streaming kind of opened the floodgates for everything.
Oh my God,
like there's not even a filter now, right? Before, labels actually filtered what came out.
Right.
They controlled what you released, but now they have lost control of the releasing. So they're saturated now. We're saturated full of different
music.
But
you know what? You know that's terrible because guess what now? Now you as an artist, are you generating fans for the moment or are you generating fans for the lifetime? For example, I'm going to go to the, Wu-Tang concert on the 22nd. I've been a Wu-Tang a Wu-Tang fan since the 90s. I've grown old with them. You know what I'm saying? But now with all this music coming out at once, you're basically generating trending fans and they're going to jump into the next one, the next one. Okay. So it's going to be hard for musicians to have a lifespan in their music for now. That's what I think.
Oh, that's a good thing. That's a good way to look at it because at the end of the day, it is going to be hard for you to gain a fan base really because of how it's like on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. Music is being made like microwave, right? Yeah. You pop it in for 3 minutes and it's done, or 2 minutes and it's done, or 1 minute and it's done. But it's going to be hard to fill up the stadiums because at the simple fact, the music is trending. It's all about trending. It's not about long-lasting longevity. It's about who's next. Who's the next good person? Oh, he's good. It's like bandwagoning, right? Yeah. So that becomes a challenge on growing your fan base. I know this because I'm an artist as well, right? So it is hard to build a fan base that is going to grow old with when you are not bringing anything of substance, number one. And number two, the way that it's going with bandwagoning on jumping to new songs, because there's always something new coming out. It's hard to build for an artist. To me, in my opinion, it is hard for an artist to build a solid fan base when there's so many people out here that are literally looking for the next best thing, and that's the new generation, by the way. They're always looking for the next thing. See, the older heads, they're more like, yo, I love this is what I love, I'm gonna grow with that because I love that. But the newer generation is like, nah, that was yesterday, we're on this because the world is sped up. That's what I go back to say about the world speeding up. Because the world has sped up, you're gonna get this effect. You're gonna get this like, oh, that was hot yesterday, it's not hot now. That was hot 30 seconds ago, it's not hot now. And that's the way we're living in now. So for the people who have been able to hold on to an artist for a long time and have been following these artists for years, congratulations, because you have got something very monumental, legendary to hold on to. Meanwhile, the new generation, there's nothing for them to really hold on to because they're so used to what's next. And not growing with that artist all the way through. So that is a challenge, and I hope that we can find some type of median for that. Thank you so much for D for coming through to give us the trending topics. And guys, we're gonna have D on, I guess, a little more often to talk about these trending topics.
D's World
in the building.
I think she's coming up with a IG account soon that's gonna have D's World, and it'll have some things of different topics and stuff like that. You working on that, right? All right, cool.
She's gonna give us all the news now. She's gonna give us news, give us what's trending and all the new stuff.
Yeah, she's exclusive.
Rabbit and Neil show.
Yeah, she's exclusive.
That's it.
Yeah, we only got her for a trending. That's what we got her.
Right. But we didn't even ask you. I'm sorry. Since we were talking about, again, let's go back to what we was talking about grieving and 9/11 and how to cope with grieving. How do you cope with grieving? What mechanisms do you use?
What mechanisms do you?
That's right. Well, to be honest with you, the 9/11 was, of course, like you guys were talking earlier, it's always been very hurtful, I mean, born and raised in New York City, that touched the world, you know. And my heart goes out to everyone, the survivors, the families, and everyone else. As far as for me personally, losing a loved one, I shut down. Like, I've been dealing with, trauma in life where now I'm numb to stuff like that.
Right.
And that's just my way of coping with things because I've always been the one to be looked as the strong one in the family. So I've always kept that in mind. Now, don't get me wrong, I have my ways of, breaking down in my own time, but I don't allow anyone to see me because, I'm a hard shelf in the front. And what people don't realize is that those people that are hard shelves in the front, they're soft as heck inside. But it's that's just my persona. That's what I keep up with. So my way of coping with stuff is just, tuning everything out and just
dealing with it.
And just working my butt off. That's all.
Yeah. Tuning
buried
out,
in work.
tuning out is almost like saying you don't want to deal with reality of what's going on.
Exactly.
And that's to me it spells therapy.
Yeah, of course.
You need therapy for something like that, because tuning things out is really not solving the issue, right?
It's not, because
really
it makes you desensitized.
Yeah. It's not
so
helping.
now
It's not really
I'm
helping.
desensitized on a lot of people's feelings, because
Right.
I'm like, I feel that same way, and I'm still able to get up and do what I have to do. Even that I'm broken down, and if you cut me inside, I'm bleeding everywhere.
Right.
But you would never know it, because I have this strong character.
Right.
You know, and
that is kind of your mechanism, basically.
Exactly.
That's your wall. You know what I mean? You have a brick wall. And it's good to have that, but it's also good to address that and getting some therapy
I think
help.
that
We all
is,
do.
I think that it's not good to have it, because I think that
It's
everyone
not
should show emotions. Everyone should get therapy.
They should.
Of course, but like you guys said, therapy is expensive. You know, like I've called places for some friend of mine to get therapy, and it was like $80 an hour. Like, what? You know, we don't have that kind of money.
Right.
And then if you have health insurance, people are paying hundreds of dollars every 2 weeks from their employers for health insurance that can cover a therapy session.
It's
you know,
hard. It's hard.
So it's really hard. So what I do is now, what I'm doing and pouring my energy and everything is I'm dealing with my nonprofit organization.
Talk about that.
You know, you can go. Please visit my website.
Yeah, where can we go?
All donations are
Where
accepted.
can we go?
HealingBrokenSouls.org.
Oh, yeah. You guys heard it. HealingBrokenSouls.org. I am definitely a part of that as well. And we have definitely donated to a lot of kids at the Covenant House. Also with Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit has been one of the main ones
does a lot
that's
too.
donated a lot to the Covenant
give you your flowers,
House in
girl.
Fort Lauderdale.
Thank you. You know, that's my therapy too. That's how I cope with a lot of things too. Just giving back, because I know growing up and being a child, you know, growing up how we grew up very tough and rough. So I know what it is not to have. So even having that concept and having and knowing that feeling and what that feels like, and then just putting a smile on the kid's life, or even a mom or whatever, to me that means a lot to me.
Yeah,
awesome.
and that definitely brings me a lot of joy, and that's part of making me happy, is seeing other people happy. My thing is, you know, children, keeping children safe. I mean, if they was to ask me what my superpowers will be, and if God came and asked me, I'm gonna give you these powers. What are you gonna do with it? One, I will end addiction, and two, I will end child abuse.
Very nice. That's a very nice, man. And I pray that they get the help. I pray that people, you know what I mean. What you said is very, very deep, because if we had one wish. Everyone had a wish. I watched the movie last night, the Wonder Woman movie, 84. And the whole thing about that movie was the guy was granting everyone's wish till it went chaotic. Right? It went chaotic. Somebody wished for somebody to die. Somebody wished for somebody to be rich. Somebody wished to be famous. And he granted so many people's wishes in the world till the world was getting ready to self-destruct.
Oh, that kind of reminds me of like Bruce Almighty.
Is that same situation where things went chaotic on the Wonder Woman 84. You got to watch that movie, Wonder Woman 84. That movie, so what I learned from that movie last night was you can't grant everyone's wish. You can't. If you granted everyone's wish, the world would go insane. Because you don't know what that person is going to wish for. You understand? Just like somebody can wish to say they want to hit the lottery. Then if that one person hits the lottery for all the money, nobody else can get the money, and then he's going to be the only one. You get what I'm saying? Things is a repercussion of granting people their wishes. That's probably why God don't grant everybody the wish. That they're not the type of wish that they're asking for. He grants what he's supposed to grant to you that's written
what
for you.
What you work for.
What you work for. You know, God bless the child that God is
and how kind you are to people, because what you put out is what you get back.
The energy.
Exactly.
Energy never
you are
lies.
what you attract.
Yeah,
so
you are. Yeah.
So if they ask you guys, Rabbit, what would your
Superpower?
special powers be?
My superpower would be the ability to change a person's reality. So if I can get in the mind of a person and change how they think, that would be my superpower. Because a lot of people don't know how to cope with things. A lot of people don't want to see reality for what it is. A lot of people live in a delusional state. And that's been going on and trending. A lot of people are delusional. People are not seeing reality for what it is, because there's no more originality anymore. Everybody want to be like everybody else. Everybody want to have the same sound far as music. Everybody want to do the same thing like Everywhere else, I'm original. They say Rabbit. There's so many podcasts out here in the world. Everybody's doing podcasts. Everybody's doing shows. Like, what makes you different? I'm unique. I'm original. I'm doing it because I like to do it.
Right.
And I mean what I say. If I care about people, I care about people. My receipts show it.
Right. That's right.
And anybody that knows me will let you know and know.
You know a lot of people too, girl.
I know a lot of people.
Girl, you people around, girl.
And I know good people, and I'm aligned with it, and I love it. And now that I'm getting older, it's like you see yourself more with the less of the people who you started with. And I had a hard time with dealing with letting go again. Like we dealing with coping and letting go. I had to deal with letting go because I'm a friendly person, so I'm a people's person. So everybody to me is my friend. So if you hurt me, it hurts me to my core because my intentions was never to do that to you.
Right.
So I had to learn like everybody is not doesn't have the same heart as you, doesn't have the same vision as you, and it's okay.
Nah, ain't nothing wrong with
you
that.
can leave them where you at, but you can't bring them with you.
You can't. Not everyone is meant to go with you on your journey. Your vision is not theirs, and it's okay with that because everyone was blessed with a vision.
Right.
So you can't get mad because somebody else has a vision that's different from yours.
Exactly.
Consider that a blessing that people have visions because there's people walking around with not one vision on them. They have no vision. They have no passion. They don't know their purpose. They don't even know why they're here. Right. All they think they do to do is to work, and that's it.
That's
man.
it.
So for you to even think that, to have that thought process, like I have a vision, that's dope. If you have a vision, that's great. If you know what your purpose is, that's awesome. Because some people don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people are not walking in their purpose right now. And people ask me that all the time. Like, Neil, what would you do? Like you was telling me, what would I do with having a superpower? My superpower is to create awareness to people, to wake them up to the point where they're so awoke, they're so woke to the point that things start to happen in their lives the way they're supposed to. Things start to happen in a good, tremendous way for them to where they can be able to become successful people. If I had the power to push a button and say I would like all the people in the world to find their purpose, live in that purpose, and walk in that purpose and help others and love people, because that's the key to this world is love. Do you know if we had more love, there'd be less problems?
Yeah. Absolutely.
There'd be less earthquakes as there was more love. There'll be less of a lot of things that there was more love. Even in politics, if there were more people lovingly in politics, there'll be more love. But unfortunately, it's the way that it's designed. But if I had that superpower, it would be to push that to make everybody love each other.
Yeah. I like that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, love. Love is power, man.
Yeah, it
love
really
is power. I'm telling you.
Love is definitely
love is power, man.
Yes.
Love is power.
Because if you even with positivity, you can have someone who's negative and you just come around and you
they
take that light. They start changing the way they think. They start changing the way they move, and they start expressing themselves. Every time I sit next to somebody, I don't know them from a can of paint, and they could be having a hard time, a bad day or whatever, and I come in and just talk to them. I just change their whole situation. I just make them look at something in a different perception.
That's right.
And that's all it takes is just to change your mindset.
Yeah, it's a mindset thing. And remember,
you just got to train your mind to it.
If you're around 3 people who are toxic, you'll probably become the 4th toxic person.
Absolutely.
If you're around 5 positive people who are getting financial things in order and you don't have it, you're going to have it eventually because you're around those people who want something better. I tell people that all the time, even my own kids. I said, listen, if you want better, you got to start being around the right people. Because if you continue to be around negative people, they're not doing it on purpose, but it's just an attraction to the point where you won't do anything. You'll become lazy. You won't do any work. You'll come up with a million excuses why you can't do it or why you're not doing it, all because those people have excuses too. So when you got around people that got too many excuses, you got to get away from them. You got to get around people that don't make excuses. Bottom line, they're either doing it or they're not doing it. Nothing in between. If you're going to be this, what you're doing, then do it. Go for it. And it's on you because nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do. You know what I mean? It's all the ball is in your court. So
absolutely.
Yeah, this has been great.
It has been. I enjoyed it.
I think I'm really loving this.
It was a good topic to talk about.
You loving it? You loving it?
I think I'm really loving this show.
And I hope you guys like it too. So we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, yes. It is time, our guys. Yes. We don't want to go, but we got to get out of here.
But you guys are doing amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I hope everybody else liked it. It's more to come.
Yes,
on our next segment, Neil, we're going to talk about more the teen talk that we have coming up on our second episode. Also, in a man's mind, getting to know what you guys think, how you guys, what triggers you guys, and all that stuff.
In a man's mind.
So we're going to talk about that next episode. But before we leave, we got to end this with a prayer. And not only with the prayer, I wanted to end it with an affirmation. So I told Neil to pick up one of his favorite affirmations that get him through a daily day or that inspire him for that moment of how he's feeling. So I'm gonna end it with a prayer, and then we're gonna do the affirmation, and then we're gonna close it up. So the prayer that I chose today is called gratitude.
Okay.
So it says, gracious Father, thank you for making this day successful. As we depart, Lord, we ask you to be with us. May your angels be before us and clear the way so that we can reach home safely. Thank you for the lives that you have prepared beforehand for us to touch with your word. Lord, thank you for the laughter and the wonderful time that we've shared. May all glory and honor come back to you in everything that we do. It is in Jesus' name we believe and pray. Amen.
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 And the reason why I chose gratitude was because I'm grateful. You know, I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for having my family. That's number one. I talk about it all the time. I'm grateful for having such positive people because even though you fall short, it's always good to have a backbone. No matter what you're going through, no matter, you have to have some type of set foundation to fall back on. There's a lot of people that don't have that and fall short. So make sure you love on the people who love on you.
Love on the people that love
Be
on
around
you.
people who, you know, who is only going to bring positivity, who's going to bring out the best version of yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
If you know that's what she likes to do and she likes to be the voice of reason, put her there. And if you have the position to do so, do it.
That makes sense to me.
Help one person a day at a time.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
But definitely, you know, after watching this, go ahead and do an act of kindness to someone.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you guys out there, you guys.
It doesn't take much
You
to be
guys.
kind
all.
to someone.
All you guys out there.
Even
okay?
a simple
All you guys.
conversation
Right.
could change someone's life.
Do something.
Absolutely.
Showing that the kindness.
Here at
telling you.
Healing Broken Souls, we are healing one soul at a
At
time.
a time. That's
one
right.
soul
So
at a
visit
time. I
our
like that.
website, healingbrokenSouls.org.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Let's go. So
So go ahead, Neil.
I'm going to
What's your
give
favorite
you
affirmation
my
before we close
favorite
out?
affirmation is I accept all aspects of myself completely.
Ooh.
That is my affirmation.
Nice.
And what does that mean to you and why?
Accepting who you are is what makes you who you are as a character, as a person, and accepting and embracing who you are, where you are at in your life. This is not easy to do, but it takes work to get to where I'm at right now in my life. It's completing and being complete about standing in my purpose, standing in my walk, standing in giving back, standing in being a better person, standing in. So when you're standing there, you can walk proudly. And when you go in a room full of people, no matter if they're negative or no matter what, they're going to notice you. You know the reason why? Because the loudest person in the room sometimes is not good, but the one that you don't even have to speak and you just walk in that room
it's that light.
and they feel it, they see it,
That's
they
that
know
energy.
there's something about that guy, and I'm that guy. When I walk in, I am who I am. I'm not different. I don't change. I stay the same the whole entire trip. And as long as I remain me and be me, I can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with that too. I agree.
Yeah.
My affirmation is it's not where you start, is where you finish, right? Because you may have made mistakes in the beginning, right? You may have stumbled. You may have stumbled again. You may have stumbled a few more times. But you're growing as you're stumbling. But you stumble at the beginning. The ending mark is where you judged.
Yeah, I know.
You don't judge from the beginning because
I get it.
you don't know. Obstacles in life tends to change people.
That's right.
You know?
Journey.
So as long as you're learning and you're growing and the finish line is what's going to be your end result in a positive way, that's what I think.
That's
that would
awesome.
be my affirmation.
That's dope. I like that. Let's give it up for Jessica Rabbit. Let's give it up for Jessica Rabbit, man. And let's give it up for the Yo Rabbit and Neil show one time. Let's give it up for Yo Rabbit.
No, and we also got to shout out Laugh House Production for the engineer work today.
Yeah, Laugh House Production.
In the building.
And, and Healing Broken Souls once again. And, guys, let me tell you something. Healing Broken Souls is doing something very, very good for the community.
That's dope.
And I can't wait till you guys see what we got going on, you know, because I'm glad to be a part of something that's super huge for the community right here in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. So, guys, stay tuned.
Yeah, and tap in with us. DM us. We're not Hollywood at all. So if you have any questions for us, you can find me at Jessica Rabbit on IG, TikTok, Facebook, Jessica Hernandez. You can also follow Neil in all digital platforms. And he got some songs out too because he's a recording artist. So make sure you guys look out for I Know, Not a Loss.
I know.
Nights in London. This is what we do. It's your girl Jessica Rabbit, and this is your Rabbit and Neil show with my co-host.
Neil, baby. And
we
in the
out of here.